if you are here with me right now. I trust that. Sorry, I had to fix the audio. But as I said, welcome. If you are here, then I trust that you know the vibes, you know what this will be like and what it will do for you, okay? So, let's just get into this topic because I think it's a good one. Um, let's see here. We're naming this one Living Without Religion because solely for the sole fact that I do not follow a set religion myself personally. Now, with that being said, I was raised Baptist. My grandmother and my mother were both Baptists. They liked church. My grandmother took me to church. I even went to church a little bit on my own, like socially when I was in middle school, but I didn't really resonate with it only because I felt like there was something more that I should feel. Like I just felt that I should feel more attached to the religion, like spiritually, emotionally, and that just didn't happen. Like during the service, I would be moved by the singing and by what was being said in such a powerful, riveting way. But I would always worry about the fact that I didn't understand what was happening enough for me to like be fully committed the way I guess I wanted to. Like I was serious about wanting to be committed. So early on, I guess I decided to just learn about all the religions. I just wanted to learn about all of them. That's how I approach things. I tend to be pretty logical. I'm a Virgo. I have a lot of Virgo placements. So, with that being said, I like basically when I was like, I want to say it began in eighth grade, but it really like hit its pivotal study point when I was in a freshman in high school, and I just looked up all the religions. I looked into each one pretty extensively, and I read as many like holy books as I can get my hands on. So obviously the Holy Bible, the Quran, and I didn't get my hands on any. I couldn't get all of them obviously, but like I did the best I could with just doing research. So I came to the conclusion, okay, that I loved Buddhism. So I was really into the Buddhism thing, and it was very beautiful to practice throughout the years. Well, it still is. I still have elements of it that I practice, um, not just loosely though. You know what I'm saying? But I just want to get more into the point of what I'm getting to. But I thought I would start with giving out a little bit of my religious background so y'all can understand where I was coming from with this. Okay. So, let me just take a breath because I'll be channeling from my higher self, speaking from my highest like place. And also, when I started, for some reason, my throat chakra wants to start acting up, which is crazy because my voice has been fine all day. It's probably because I just ate a bunch of candy. That could be the case. So, yeah. So let's dive deep here, folks. So, a life without religion for me, it's actually very fulfilling. As I kind of touched on in the last episode, who we answer to, or who to answer to, I pretty much let you guys know that like how I view God. I have a very deep relationship with God, very very personal, very oneness kind of relationship with God. It's exactly how I always wanted to feel with religion, but it's like without the constraints or the confusion of religion. It just allows me to be in this space of just presence with the energy of God, which I feel like is in all things, but especially things that happen more naturally within life, which is like most of it really. There's a lot of aspects of society that are very unnatural, which like actually weigh on us pretty heavily, I think. But living a life without religion has been so fulfilling for me because, like I said, I have that connection with what I view as God, the energy of God, which is the natural world and pretty much everything, which is this random like set of things, but for some reason it has its perfect meaning in the whole of existence. And I just have such an appreciation for that. I felt the extremes of nothingness and like oneness all the way to like everything and feeling like I could almost control everything in real time, and it was really scary. It's pretty complex to get into that portion of what I'm trying to explain, but I'm just really trying to say that I felt pretty much so many different extremes of life that I've kind of arrived at a point where it's like you just start to feel so in tune with everything, even when it's like good or bad. And I just never really felt that before. And to be able to connect with parts of my being that I believe bring me a sense of clarity, it just brings me to such a peaceful place. Just like when you're in that flow, and if you're a spiritual person, you know what I'm talking about when I say in flow. It's that place that you get in when you're just like you feel like you're so aligned, like you just understand what's happening, and you're very intentional because you're like having this, you're just one with the world around you. And when if you smart, when you're in that vibe, you hold on to those feelings and know how to kind of get yourself in that state. You do your favorite things, you try to relax yourself, view your thoughts, observe your thoughts, things like that, right? But for me, this life without religion is it's important because it allows me to be limitless, and this is probably one of my favorite parts of it because I have my boundaries and my standards and my beliefs that give me some sort of like structure for myself as a human in this human body because we need that. Like life, I've learned as an adult is chaotic. Like it's not structured like it was when you were a kid, when you went off to school and you went to do this and you went to do that, and there was a reason and a purpose because someone is like structuring this up for you, or you're requesting that you be able to do this or that activity. As an adult, you realize life is chaotic. It can go anywhere. Any wrong move could put you in just like a mind bending kind of space. And then you have world events. You just have all these layers of things, and you need some type. It becomes like a very wise, I'll say that, wise, experienced point of view for a certain type of human, adult human, to go, you know what, it would help me to have some type of structure in my life so that I can function at a basic level and, you know, get acquire some things that I need to at least live a fulfilling life where I have everything that I need. And that's what every human wants. I don't care what anybody says. Every human wants to be able to live in a comfortable space with food and water and something to laugh and smile at. This is just it just is. You could be sad, mad, evil, good, whatever you want to label these things, but that's what every human wants. And in order to acquire that, we can all acquire that if we're on a certain wavelength for ourselves. We can acquire whatever we feel like we need for ourselves. But that being said, when you have these limitations and these restrictions as big and grand as like religion and even other structures, but we're talking about religion right now. And the reason is because we have this huge decision being made today on Roe versus Wade, abortion rights, women's rights, people who are, women, those kinds of issues, like, or people who give birth, things like that, right? Those kind of phrases, because I have to be careful now. But I mean, the reason it's so bizarre is because there's certain, people's groups behind this, obviously. And a lot of people are discussing religion. And I'm not really here for the politics talk or the talk about abortion. Specifically, I'm talking about religion because that's just what's on my heart to talk about. That's what came up in my spirit to talk about. And it's a good topic, I think, because we're really going far in these years in time, and I feel like we're all starting to evolve in a way where we're starting to feel time different, and we're realizing that though time is a structure, that is a thing, like that is a set thing, it is finite. Well, is it? Well, let's not get into any other discussions except what we're speaking on. So we're experiencing time different. We're all evolving as a human species. We really are. We have a lot more power to self evaluate and learn ourselves, which directly puts us in a place of evolution. You hear what I'm saying? Especially consciously, on a conscious soul level, which is beautiful. And with that being said, things like religion should be talked about a bit because these are things that are not aligning to a lot of people, and that's because though we feel connected to something, religion just isn't doing the job of like explaining that. And I think if you are someone like me and you kind of giving yourself the rundown of all the religions you can get your hands on, you start to notice that they all have something in common, which is one, unless it's literally a polytheistic religion, such as, you know my mind just went blank here, and I know this. A lot of um Eastern cultures, okay, Hinduism, things like that, right? There's this concept of just a god, and then there's all of these other things that start to umbrella underneath. And I feel like that's where it starts to get a little wishy-washy. So my whole thing was when I was a freshman in high school all the way until now is that guy that everyone describes, that light, that thing that brings things into being, even in the polytheistic religions, in Greek mythology and African spirituality and Hinduism. There's always a force that brings something to be, and to me that is God. That force, that thing that just happens, and we all have to kind of adapt to it, and everything else has to adapt to it. It's just this chain event of energy, just moving and grooving through this huge, like this huge existence that is the galaxy, the world, the universe, right? Even in this galaxy, there's like hella other galaxies. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit's crazy. I'm trying to be a little bit more clean cut on these videos because I just don't have time for like YouTube repressing these videos. They already are very iffy topics. And then, spiritual content, I feel like already gets put in these weird like spaces with the algorithm. But that's a story for another day. Religion is just another structure to me that limits me because I don't feel connected to the stories enough. Now, when I've read the Bible and I've gone over the stories, don't get me wrong. The whole like overview of it resonates with me deeply. But as far as like believing in this religion enough to like set like make it a deciding factor for different things in my life, let alone the damn government around me or in anyone else's life, is just so bizarre to me. I think that whole thing about going and recruiting others to be a part of this, we can go ahead and look at it as a cult at this point. We're all evolved enough to do this at this point. Like I get it. We have so much of like church like wrapped up in government, but that's okay too. Because if people are practicing their faith and there's followers and there's people willing to do business with these facilities and then it gets certain like benefits through the government or whatever, tax free, whatever you want to call it, love. Like that, that's great. That's beautiful. That's not what I'm saying. I don't think things like that should end. I think that those things are beautiful. I just think that they should be adjusted for the way that we're growing. A lot of things need to be adjusted for the way that humans are evolving. The fact that we're trying to keep this system the same is nuts at this point, and so many people feel the same way. But the reason religion is so interesting to me of a topic is because of the hold that it has on people. I just find it. I've always found it to be pretty strange, but I look at a lot of different things that people are committed to, and I understand humans have this natural need to be purposeful in their life and be committed to something. It could be the dumbest thing to whoever. It might be hella important to this person, like cigarettes. People worship cigarettes. There's people that worship like old technology. There's people that worship you know, other people who aren't religious. That's my thing. Like, as humans, we just have to keep it real with ourselves and go, look, if we look around, we all are trying to commit ourselves to something. Fine. But at some point, it's like, how far is this getting when it's affecting other people's lives that aren't even in this group? And does that make sense for a place like America? On the level of government, like, I get it. We have our wings and our branches, in our houses that have their own parties, and I get it, I do. But for ourselves, like I just wish that people will open their eyes and see like it doesn't make sense to allow our government officials and just people in our lives in general to force their beliefs upon us and feel like that's okay to do. I can respect someone all day and but also tell them, look, you have to respect the fact that that's not what I do in my life. So if you could please like refrain from trying to indoctrinate me, like that's a human right. So many of our human rights just get violated in so many different ways, and I just think that you know it would be so beautiful if on a personal level, people would just reconsider allowing that to happen to themselves. I'm not gonna sit here and tell other people, like, "Stop doing that to other people." Like, I don't know if I mean, I could if I was, like, defending someone or defending myself, but in this space, I just don't find that necessary. I just wanna share my view for anybody who might be going through the same thing because I just want people to know, like, at the end of the day, like, it's okay. Like, it's okay to not be an atheist and just be like, I don't believe in anything. Because I'm not gonna lie, I feel like most atheists are either just like nihilists and they just genuinely don't believe that there's anything affecting anything, and we just happen to fucking be here in these bodies talking and making things, which is kind of nuts. Uh, Kinda crazy. But, and I mean, and I get that too, I really do. It's just it's like it's the easiest thing to do to just be like, "I don't wanna choose anything, it just is what it is." You don't have to choose anything if you don't want to. That's fine, Obviously, that's a human right. And then there's, atheist people well, we talked about atheists. But yeah, I no, that's what I was saying, sorry. I believe that a lot of atheists are honestly just angry at the concept of God and angry at, like, organized religion and things like that. And they have the right to be angry, you know what I'm saying? But I personally just don't believe anger does anything helpful to society except maybe change things and destroy things that need destroying or need change. But, just, like, spewing like hate after a while is just like, okay, I just believe that it comes to an end, as it should, and I do believe it should. I wish I had more solid points for this discussion, and I don't know how long I've been going, and I don't really plan on going that long with this. I just really want to get my thoughts out for this because I do believe there's a few people out there wanting to hear it. So, why not start somewhere? This will grow. I trust the Spirit's helping me, um, guide me with this. So I'm gonna remain confident in what I'm saying and expressing. I find it to be important for today because, like I said, dude, like it's just crazy just sitting back and watching. And I'm living this life where I feel completely unaffected by everything that's happening. Like, obviously, things happen to me, inflation, like, there's all kinds of things happening to me, like being a person experiencing a disability in a government structure that doesn't have the most like helpful situation with like healthcare and all that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, shit affects me. Like, I can't escape it completely. I guess I'm just saying that I don't allow it to affect my mood. I just take it as it is what it is. I'm living life literally on my terms and to the best of my abilities. I have everything that I need. I'm not like super like super like fucking affluent just yet, wealthy just yet, but I'm on my way for sure, and I'm comfortable in that. I'm just saying that to say like I'm not over here trying to sell you this whole like okay, manifest a better reality, like be delusional, don't think about it, don't conform. Like that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying whatever your relationship to God is, accept it as accept it and honor it and demand respect for yourself and for your process as like what it should be. Don't let nobody make you feel like you're wrong for believing in abortion or not or whatever you're gonna believe for yourself or shit, whatever your beliefs are. I just feel like for those specifically who just don't have a religion and who happen to be believe in things like believe in I just feel like believing is that structure that helps us humans. If you choose to believe, I think that's a very wise thing to do because there's things that you can believe in that will just help you through this life, get through it the way that you're meant to. Say, if you believe in a healthy planetary environment, the ocean, oh, you believe in, I don't know, you believe in people treating animals kindly or not eating them. A woman is a fucking regular ass human just like anyone else. We all have our major roles in nature and in society, but like we don't have to like do nothing that we don't want to do to ourselves like realistically. Obviously public health is a thing, but like us being free to handle our bodies the way we want isn't too many like ways that can really disrupt someone else. But like obviously there's obvious rules like that. Come on now. You know what I'm getting at. Or I hope that you do rather. Cuz I'm really just saying like some of these things like logically just don't make sense anymore for where we've gotten as a human race and here in this country specifically. It's like I'm really just really wanting to challenge people to just look at it as logical as that. Like, bruh, why are we even doing this? All of those people who are selfish about women, like men who even comment on it sound crazy at this point. Women who saying the shit, okay, you like I don't this shouldn't even be something we're voting on. It's like it's really ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. Honestly, they should really like there should be no like bringing this back up for discussion. There should always be somewhere in every state for someone to go to get this service done. or get whatever they feel like they may need done for themselves, unless it's damn near gonna hurt them or put their life in danger. Like, why not? We're still being fed things that aren't even safe to ingest. Like, there's still so much wrong things happening. You know what I'm saying? Just think about it. Like think about it. If that's your thing, that's your thing. That's like saying me and my family like to wear white. So when we want everybody to wear white on a certain day of the week, and when we come around you, we'd appreciate if you try to wear some white. Like, or we're gonna talk to you the whole time about why wearing white is so important. Like, that's not that's not cool. Like, I don't know. I just think we're copping out when we're agreeing to just like follow these things and just like complain about it. Finally, people are getting mad enough where they're really acting on it, and it's like not escapable at this point. Because I think all this time we've just been holding together what the most rich people in the world in this government structure wants, and those rich people just happen to be the most religious people and the most like you know those are the people that's been having kind of more of the pull. No matter who's in office, the people who make the most money are the people who are really like moving things around, if we're being honest. And those are the people who uphold the religious systems because, it's all a locked in thing if you think about it. It all works hand in hand. It's a very old system, old money, old families involved. Like, it's a business, it's a group. Like, let's be honest. And honestly, sometimes they're like the mean girls of it all, really. I think it's craziness. I thought this talk would be like a lot more esoteric and occult, but like it really ended up coming out so logical. Like, I always pray and meditate before I start this. And my prayer, you're probably wondering, like, okay, if this person is not religious, how do they pray? Right? My prayers are declarations. I'm a person who believes in the power of just like alchemy and manipulating energy. And I'm a person who I manipulate, and I use that word with air quotations because it's like it's almost dance with energy. It's almost like I understand the rhythm and I'm gonna dance with you, and then we're gonna be in sync. And that's how I choose to go about life. And figuring out how to do so is my religion. How to live life to where I'm my most productive, my most happy, my most clear. That's my religion. My religion is finding a way to feel one and whole and happy and fulfilled with what I'm given, because that's me traveling, my spirit traveling, okay? And when I'm awake and when I'm living in my body consciously and awake, I'm okay and more than okay with what I'm experiencing, no matter what it is. That's what I'm committed to. And in that space, I'm not worried about anybody else. If anything, I care about helping someone, but I don't ever force it. Like, I've gotten to a place that just feels so right. And I just wish this feeling on everybody because it's really just minding my business. I care about shit. I care about like everything. Like, come on, I'm an empath. But the thing is, I've learned to accept life as it is and control only what I can control. And if more people were more like literally encouraged heavily, say by their government or their peers or whatever, to be a similar way, then we'd have less. I believe we would just have less problems um, with just like just craziness throughout our, like, I don't know, maybe that's just a little too simple. But I feel like simplifying things and looking at shit logically, maybe it just might help. I don't know. It's so many things that need to be a solution, but these are just topics that I feel like will, just make the mind do a little bit of like stretching and thinking and just almost just kind of like accepting and coming up off of anything that you might be really hard on because I've been there and that's just not a space that I like to be, almost where you care about everything so much or you're aware of everything happening so much to where you feel like you need to be ready for something or you feel like you need to do something at every moment. It just makes life feel so tight and like cramped and tense. And that shit's crazy on a day to day basis to experience. How bizarre is it that almost everybody has anxiety now? Everybody has anxiety. Everybody's taking some type of medicine. Everybody has depression. That's not natural. That's what's naturally occurring because of what we're experiencing. But who said that this should go on? We live here. We buy stuff. We are really what like come on, some of y'all I know have to truly believe or tapped into the fact that like people are gonna give you what you allow yourself to take. Y'all seen how shit has been shifting. When people want to make something shake nowadays, like they can make it happen. And if you just pay attention in subtle ways, just subtle things, you'll notice now they're starting to put. I just speak on topics that I care about. So just excuse me if y'all don't pay attention to this stuff or y'all don't care about this stuff, okay? But I pay attention to stuff like this. Like for example, everybody's we not putting no added sugar in nothing. No added sugar, no added sugar. Now that everybody cares about their health or more people are caring about their health or their sugar intake or whatever, what have you, now all of a sudden every company wants to have no sugar intake or just like certain products. Oh, no deodorant wants to have aluminum. We found out what it does to our bodies. Or, it's so many examples. Like it's countless examples. Just take a moment to just like allow yourself to think of one. Oh, we weren't giving y'all real cheese. So now we have to let y'all know it's real cheese actually in this product. That's crazy. Like they were just giving us whatever until people were saying, you know what, I'm not buying that anymore. Then they didn't have a choice but to make, you know what I'm saying? If you think about it, I went to school for business. Like I've studied this stuff extensively, even when I wasn't in school for it as a major, because I just study for enjoyment, y'all. I know some of y'all are like this. It's not that hard to understand. But businesses literally pay the cheapest amount to produce a product. They look at it as the cheaper I can make it and sell it, and the more I can make, the better, right? So, with a model like that, imagine how cheaply made most things are that we have and that we ingest and eat and blah and use. If we demand better products and we don't mind paying extra, okay, for quality, I mean, the ethics are just all out of whack, but then people have the nerve to move off of a religious basis. But in business, we are lawless, pretty much damn near. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't align. And if it does make sense, it only makes sense to fit a certain, like a certain, it only benefits a certain group of people. I'm not saying that people should just say F religion or hate it or anything like that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that everybody should really just have that freedom that we say that we have and just like own where we are as far as that stuff and live in it. It's important that we just be honest about it. Speak up on your thoughts and your opinions if you're in this space because people feel like you either got to be godless and fucking, without sacredness. And some people are like, that's all we can be is all we can be, but really they're just unhappy and I don't know, it's just that what they've been raised to like do. it's a mess. It's a mess. It's a mess, honestly. I'm gonna end this, I'm gonna end this pretty soon. I think I got all my thoughts out. I don't really wanna, like, just, like, rant and say a bunch of things that everyone else is just, like, saying because that doesn't add anything, but just more chatter into the world. I really am being intentional with this whole thing. I told y'all my aim is just to challenge them, also trying to dance with with nature, with divinity, the force that wants to function at a very high vibrational frequency. The force that puts everything at its like healthiest state. Imagine for a second just like water being its cleanest, air being its cleanest, the earth being its literal happiest, the animals being themselves doing what they do. We see how playful, intelligent, crazy intelligent animals are. They don't just hunt and do mindless things. If you think about it, humans are the same way, mind you. But I'm saying that to say, like, imagine Earth at its like healthiest. Therefore, humans being at their healthiest and everybody having their niche and functioning well enough to live like very well lives. It's not that far off. It's really not. More people are trying, like, there's things happening in the world that are allowing more people to have access to places to live. They're small and, they're the extra places that they're just kind of throwing together, but that's a start. It's a start. People deserve it. If we have all these empty spaces, why the hell not? If y'all gotta figure out a way to circulate the money to pay for it, hey, that's what gotta be done now, fine. I mean, really, what is it just to like have a company kind of like come on now. It's not hard. People want to farm. Why don't we all push like come on, we all want to farm. We all like houseplants. We all like it to some capacity. Weirdos are gonna be weird. Let them do that in their own little nick of the woods until they upset the balance and then they have to be addressed. Like, come on, it's really not that hard, though. Look it up. There's people living in like little societies where they have some type of like structure and it's not perfect, but it gives you something to kind of like say, like this really wouldn't be that hard. Like I don't know if I just feel like if people just stand up for themselves more on an individual basis in life in general, and just kind of adopt more of a theology, all this violent shit, come on now. Why is that being pushed? Why is that made okay? Why what there is no need for human beings to be so violent towards one another. It's like no. I really think this shit is important. Like, I think that somebody needs to be having these conversations. I know that people are on podcasts and things like that somewhere in the world, child. I know they're not just talking about Harry Potter and true crime, random facts. Gosh, I think that honestly, we're going right in the direction we're supposed to go. I said this on Twitter. I'm feeling positive about this whole thing because people are just not gonna go for it. And if we do, like, we are crazy for that. I'm not. I know that there's plenty of individuals. I know that there's so many people in America right now who are like not going for it. Then there's that big group that's like, oh, well, I guess we're gonna have to react. Like, we're gonna have to just live like this way, like adjust to it. And I just don't see how I just don't see why people are just like, okay, yeah, whatever. Like I do, I guess I do, but it's not. That's not cool. There's an obvious need for us to utilize like an abortion procedure, and if a woman, if a person who gives birth wants that, who is able to give birth, a person with a vagina, okay, that person should be able to anytime say, I want this done and get it. Like, come on. Somebody should be able to say, I want my arm cut off and get it. If they want their arm cut off, it's that dumb. If they want to pay for that, or if they truly believe their life will be better, I don't know. Like, cut it off. It's weird, but it's what they want. Like, uh, and then we just start having some kind of protocol. Like, people are doing this, we wouldn't recommend it. It's not easy to live with one arm, and you may really regret it later. Then people might think about it. There might be that one weird person who will still want it done just because. You get my drift, though. You get my drift. This is what I try to imagine at least once a day for a couple minutes. Like, if the world could be this way, how would I see it? You know, I challenge you to do that and be realistic about it too. I feel like everything that I'm saying is realistic. That's the funny part. I feel like we're already so close. We're like that already. People are already doing whatever they want to do, but then they just want to still leave these like government systems and like systems of like school and religion and stuff like that just in functioning in the old way when it just doesn't make sense. Everything needs to be kind of reimagined and redone, not in these small tiny little trainings and all these little ways. Like they need to straight call it something, make it a big deal, like restructure government restructure project. This amount of years we're gonna throw out some policies and do a bunch of surveys throughout America to see what people want. We're gonna fucking get a bunch of volunteers paired with fucking government officials maybe to like decide like, yo, what are we gonna entertain from these uh from these surveys. That's what that way you got people who've already been in the structure and kind of know what is working, what hasn't, and just how things have gone. And then a bunch of people, basically somebody who knows the rules, and then a group of people who can help break them. That's been my favorite quote since I was at uni, since I was at Webster University in dance program. You have to learn the rules before you break them. That makes a good dancer. That makes a good anything. So, with some of the old knowledge plus like a new reimagining and a new fresh mindset towards the whole thing, why can't we redo this government? Why is that such a far fetched thing to entertain when things are just getting out of hand? We keep having to re talk about these things that are just like not, these are not, this isn't up for debate anymore. People want to get married regardless of the gender. People want to not like terminate their pregnancy if they need to do so. Like, come on. Like, come on now. The people who don't believe it or agree, they just don't matter. Who says, okay, so what, you got to live on a planet with people who do things you don't agree with? If it's not hurting another person, then I mean, like, I don't know, y'all. Come on, we got to be realistic. That's all I have to say. I'm saying this with so much love. My like main goal is just to offer a perspective and hope that people see it and it just challenges you or just opens your mind in a way. Having conversations from a long distance. So I hope you can respect that and I hope you can honor that. Okay. And if you can't, I really believe that you will get to a place where you will be able to. The more that you release any tension that may be within yourself, because if you were free of tension, then I believe that you wouldn't even have the time or energy or space to much care what someone else uh, disagrees with, or that's different from yourself. Health and peace is a beautiful thing to experience, and I do believe that more of us are ready to accept a gentler lifestyle. And it took for humans to get very violent. It took for us to get very uncouth and hopeless, and we had to kind of go to our darkest self to reclaim ourselves. Some of us um, prefer that space, and some of us want a lot better. And I know that there's so many. So hopefully we get what we deserve. No, it's not even hopefully we get. Fuck that. That's not how I pray. I didn't even tell y'all how I pray. How I pray is I declare things. I declare. I know for a fact, and I'm grateful. I'm giving thanks already that the people who want to live a life of gentleness, of of just like comfort and abundance and thrive, we will have that. We are having that now, but we're claiming it more and more. We're not allowing this pushback to happen. This is not fucking Simon Says. This isn't somebody say, you guys do this, and we're like, okay. No, this is not that. It's not what it means to be human. Nobody said that we have to do that. Well, they did, but we have a say in that. And if we have a say in that, it's about time we exercise it, act like it, live like it every day, all day. Not just when it comes to fucking voting and going to work and clocking in and whatever you do, paying at the pump. Complain to the people, like, fight, like, fight their BS how they fight it in their language. They don't like it. Because at that point, it either has to change and evolve, or they just have to honor it. And eventually, with either one of those directions, somebody's going to have to get what they want. And if more of us act like we deserve that we deserve what we want, we shall get it. Jobs paying more, aren't they? People stop going to work if they're not getting treated right or paid right. Oh, that's what I thought. Good night, everyone. It's not that late here in LA, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty late everywhere else in the world, or probably just a whole nother day in general. So, with that being said, I love you guys so deeply, because I believe that you are just me fragmented out into billions of little pieces. And when I close my eyes right now, it's beautiful, because literally I just see all these like glittering stars. And it never quite looked the way that it looks right now. And I see some pretty trippy shit when I close my eyes. So, with that being said, I know spirit is like straight up here. Because I feel so clear and so present since I began speaking. I'm grateful to be here, to have you guys hear me. And I hope that you guys, I know that you guys, I try not to use these words, hope, wish, pray, because I know that I have way more power than that. I know that I can make something so, because I've seen it. I do it all day, every day. I know that you guys will start moving in your power. And I